Heat stress awareness training. Heat stress essentials. Heat stress. What is it? When the body is unable to cool itself by sweating, several heat-induced illnesses such as heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and the more severe heat stroke can occur. Heat stress is usually the result of work being performed at high temperatures. Contributory factors may also include air humidity or decreased body ventilation due to clothing. Inducing heat stress. Any process or job site that is likely to raise the worker's deep core temperature raises the risk of heat stress. Radiant heat sources. Direct physical contact with hot objects. High humidity. High temperatures. Strenuous physical activities. Medical conditions. Dehydration. Physical fitness. Weight. Age. Alcohol. Acclimatization. Medications. Metabolism. Roles and responsibilities. Supervision shall actively monitor the workforce for signs and symptoms of heat stress. It is the responsibility of each manager, department head, engineer, foreman, and charge hand to ensure that their workers are informed of the physical hazards to heat exposure, educated in recognizing and understanding the symptoms and treatment for the various forms of heat stress. The 4 environmental factors. 1. Temperature, ambient air temperature. 2. Humidity, amount of moisture in the air. 3. Radiant heat, such as from the sun or a furnace. 4. Air velocity, circulating air. Causal factors. Age, weight, degree of physical fitness. Degree of acclimatization, metabolism. Use of alcohol or drugs, as well as a variety of medical conditions such as hypertension, all affect a person's sensitivity to heat. Symptoms of heat stress. Physical reactions to hot weather range from being mild to fatal. Reactions may include fatigue, irritability, anxiety, decreased concentration, dexterity. Health hazards. There are several health hazards associated with excessive exposure to heat and sun. Recognize the effects of the following heat exposures: heat cramps, transient heat fatigue, heat exhaustion, heat rash, heat stroke. Heat stress, temporary state of discomfort and mental or psychological strain arising from prolonged heat exposure. Workers unaccustomed to the heat are particularly susceptible and can suffer a decline in task performance, coordination, alertness, and vigilance. Symptoms, general feeling of tiredness or fatigue. First aid, fluid replacement and rest. Heat rash, likely to occur in hot, humid environments where sweat is not easily removed from the surface of the skin by evaporation and the skin remains wet most of the time. Symptoms, skin becomes reddened and may itch, feel prickly or hurt. First aid, practice good personal hygiene, keep the skin clean and the pores unclogged, allow skin to dry. Wear loose clothing, see doctor if rash persists.
Heat syncope, fainting. A worker who is not accustomed to hot environments and who stands straight and immobile in the heat may faint. While enlarged blood vessels in the skin and in the lower part of the body due to the body's attempts to control internal temperature, blood may pool there rather than return to heart to be pumped to brain. Symptoms. Syncope means fainting. First signs are dizziness, feeling lightheaded and perhaps nauseous. Then the person may faint. Usually occurs in the beginning of heat stress season before the circulation system is adapted. First aid. Lay victim in a cool location horizontally with feet elevated. If conscious, give fluids. Treatment the same as shock. Heat cramps, painful spasms of muscle that occur among those who sweat profusely in heat, drink large quantities of water, but do not adequately replace the body's salt loss. Affected muscles may be part of the arms, legs, or abdomen. During or after the work hour, symptoms, cramping of either active muscles, arms, legs, or involuntary, usually abdominal muscles, or both. First aid, replenish electrolytes through drinking of fluids such as Gatorade, Squincher, Powerade, etc. Aid. Rest in a cool environment. Caution. Persons with heart problems or those on a low sodium diet should consult a physician about what to do under these conditions. Heat exhaustions caused by loss of large amounts of fluid by sweating, sometimes with excessive loss of salt. The skin is clammy and moist, the complexion is pale or flushed, and the body temperature is normal or slightly elevated. Symptoms: nausea, dizziness, weakness, headache, blurred vision, profuse sweating, cold, wet, clammy, grayish skin, unconsciousness, coma, and death. First aid: place victim in a prone position in a cool location. Administer fluids if the victim is conscious. If unconscious, seek medical care or transport to a medical emergency room. Heat stroke, most serious. Sweating becomes inadequate. Skin is hot, dry, red, or spotted. Body temperature is above 40 degrees Celsius. Mental confusion symptoms: chills, restlessness, irritability, euphoria, red face and skin, disorientation, hot, dry skin, not always, collapse, unconsciousness, convulsions, and death. First aid: immediate aggressive cooling of the victim's body using wet cloths, immersion into cold water or alcohol wipes. Transport to emergency medical facility ASAP. Prevention and control: engineering controls personal protective equipment, PPE, work practice controls. Engineering controls: general ventilation, air treatment, air cooling, air conditioning, local air cooling, convection, heat conduction, radiant heat sources, shielding insulation, and surface modification. Personal protective equipment, reflective clothing, auxiliary body cooling, ice vests, if possible, wetted clothing, low humidity, water-cooled garments, hoods, vests, and long johns, circulating air, vortex tubes, compressed air, promoting cooling wear, loose clothes that allow sweat to evaporate easily, cotton. Take internal heat sources into account when using any personal protective clothing that prevents sweat from evaporating. Wash clothes regularly and maintain good personal hygiene. Work practice controls. Work rate. The fastest way to decrease the rate of heat production is to decrease the work rate. Planning shall be made accordingly. Age. Over 40. The maximum possible output of heat decreases with age. Older people start sweating later and at a lower rate. Pay extra attention to those older than 40. Body size. Skin area to weight ratios. Administrative controls. Perform work activities during cooler periods of the day. Minimize activity in hot area. Slow down the work pace. Reduce the number and duration of exposures. Wear proper clothing. Provide recovery areas. Watch out for each other. A worker heading into a heat stroke will no longer realize what's happening to him, her. It is vital that coworkers be able to recognize what's happening and intervene. Without quick attention, the coworker may die. Body changes due to acclimatization. Gradually build up your ability to handle heat. Increase exposure time by an hour per day. When your body gets used to the heat, acclimatized, your sweating becomes more efficient. More sweat, quicker but with less salt in sweat. Blood flow to skin is reduced. More blood is available to muscles. Heart rate more stable. Heart stoke volume increases and blood volume increases. See your doctor. If you are having trouble getting used to the heat, or if you have questions about how heat may affect a medical condition you have, see your doctor. What to drink. Electrolyte drinks, e.g. Gatorade, can be used for first aid for cramps. Stay away from caffeinated, carbonated, diet drinks and alcohol as they take water out of your body. Water is the best. Juices and/or non. Caffeine sport drinks are also good. Juices contain energy-restoring glucose. How much water is enough? More than you want just to satisfy your thirst. Sources of water are 1. Fluids. 1 cup or 8 ounces equals 240 milliliters every 20 minutes. 2. Foods. Fruit and veggies are 90% water. Why 10 to 15 degrees Celsius? To maximize the amount you drink, not too cold, not lukewarm. Does it need to be delivered to the workstation? Depends on workplace logistics. Remember, when it's hot, heat your body. Watch for symptoms. Ensure you're drinking enough. Adjust your activity level. Slow down. Take clothing, PPE into account.
Your job is a dangerous place, but you already know that. That's why you come prepared with hard hats, goggles, respirators, or other necessary safety gear. With all this equipment, you still might have ignored one of the most commonly overlooked safety measures. You might not be safeguarded against heat stress and dehydration. Steady exposure to heat causes you to dehydrate, and dehydration can be a killer. Of course, losing the safety gear isn't an option, but keeping yourself hydrated with a regular rotation of water and electrolytes can counter the dangerous effects of heat stress, and that can save your life. In order to fight heat stress, first you need to know what you're up against. Workers who are exposed to extreme heat or work in hot environments run the risk of heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. These symptoms are bad enough on their own, but when you work in hazardous environments or with heavy equipment, then it becomes even more dangerous. How many accidents on the job can be traced back to dehydration? When you're dehydrated, your judgment skills and your reflexes suffer for it. Even something as simple as scaling a ladder becomes difficult when you're feeling fatigue, nausea, dizziness, or muscle spasms. Proper hydration may be the only thing between you and an accident that leaves you injured, paralyzed, or worse. Before you even start your day, ask yourself, how much rest did you get? How many diuretics and dehydrants have you had, like coffee and soda? What color is your urine? Seriously, the clearer, the better. This is a good indicator of what your starting level of hydration is, and no matter what, you should systematically consume a cycle of fluids and electrolytes throughout the day. Never wait until you're thirsty to get a drink. Remember, your body is always working, even at rest, and no matter what season it is. Dehydration is more common in the summer, but it can also hit you during cooler months, when water and electrolyte intake is often neglected. Make sure that you always monitor your physical condition. Wear breathable clothing when possible. Schedule heavy work during the coolest parts of the day when possible. Take more breaks in extreme heat and humidity. Avoid drinks with caffeine, alcohol, and large amounts of sugar. And always be sure you're getting enough fluids and electrolyte replenishment. Remember, thirst alone won't tell you when you're dehydrated, but by adding water and electrolyte replacement drinks to your safety gear, you can stop dehydration in its tracks before it ever happens.
Always remember, safety begins with you.